Hey, 99, welcome to the stream. How you doing on this early Tuesday? I wasn't able to stream this weekend, but this weekend, this coming weekend, we should be fine for our normal schedule. Okay, and also I think that Friday will be an extended stream for the franchise Friday, of course, with Shadow Hearts Covenant, aka Shadow Hearts 2. Oh yeah, I believe you'll make it. You'll make it. I'm just finishing up my break fast here, and then we can get started. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll check it out later. Man, I still gotta get that started for, but like I said, I'm not even gonna think about that until the comic is ready to be posted. For apps, you say? Oh, well, there are apps that I'm using right now. Right now, I have a C cleaner talking about some. Four apps are slowing your computer down. I'm like, oh, really? Which four? And it's all four of the ones I'm using for my stream. Of course. Of course it is. I'm trying to fit I'm trying to fit doing some art like for the site. No, not sorry, not for the site, for the stream this week too. I don't know. I'm gonna do some emotes. I have some ideas that might fit with the stream. Okay. I just gotta do them. I just gotta set some time aside to do them. Okay, I'm about to go live. I'll be right back. Actually, I can live. Okay. I'm going to progress on my site and then do the current art trend. After that, while on vacation, I want to complete the first 6 character sheets for Let's Play 3. That sounds like a plan. Oh, oh yeah. I can't wait to start the next character. I'm like, my body is trying to make me skip through retopology, but I'm just gonna end up right back in it because it doesn't take long to sculpt anything. Oh man. Okay, what do we got going here? What's happening? What's happening? All right, the official start of the show. Welcome in. Good morning. My name is Ace. I'm a hobbyist. I'm working on 3D modeling for a webcomic of my own. Okay, use this reference. Okay, we're doing them by order of appearance. We're on a third. We're making great progress here. I think I got like half the pants. Well, you'll just see. I got half the pants and the shirt. Uh, this one is my practice sculpt. I was doing a little bit of that yesterday. I'm gonna make sure I click on the right one here because the other one's completely naked and Twitch will not like that. All right, here we are. Here we got it. Yeah, this retopology isn't as good as the body, but um, I think the plan that I had devised is to just try to perfect the retopology with the by breaking down simpler shapes. I guess doing the edge loops first could work too. I mean, I was already taught to do that, but I didn't follow that. I was just trying to see if I could do it that way, but no. So now we know that you should probably start with the edge loops. Obviously, there's a reason why you have to start. See how that goes, right? That's supposed to be together, but it isn't. No problem, 99. We got we might be able to make that straight. I'm not gonna worry about it right this second. But we're down here in the cargo pocket. All right. I think we can probably do this like today. All right. I think I'm going to try to finish this today. And if I finish this today, I don't know. I want to see about trying to do an emote maybe. I think I may have enough to try something out. Because I know that this isn't like the greatest kind of thing to stream here. It's very tedious and it's easy to wander away from it, and get caught up. Not that I mind, because we're going to get through this one way or the other. Oh, wait, hold on. We have to remember there's these ridges here. See, we're already doing it. We're already trying to like get through this, and we have to follow the form. Okay, that's one of the things that I know will improve the low poly is to follow the form, so that way we don't lose these details that we've worked so hard to try to establish. I think that as far as the details themselves, they're not finished, but what we have so far, we don't want to lose. So we're going to back up a little bit and we're going to try to see this space right here. I want this right inside the cargo pocket. So I'm going to turn off in front and back up some. All right. I hope everyone's had a great weekend so far. I wasn't able to stream. I was trying to get to it, but I ultimately I failed. Okay, couldn't do it. And yesterday I wasn't able to stream either. I planned to stream yesterday, but I couldn't do it as well. But we're back. We're back here, first stream of the week. What in the world is happening here? Okay, this is what we need. We need to. Can I move this? Can I just move this? I think I can. I think I will. Let's see here. All right. Now I'm going to turn that off because I want to make sure that I can see exactly where this little fold is because I want to place the vertices right on the edge of that. All right, just to make it look better. When I get to close on my practice sculpt, I'm going to lock down a method of doing them so that we don't let it get like this. Not that this is bad. We don't know the effects of this, but I want to make sure that we keep improving on retopology. There's a slight twist to it right here. And I think I've already actually learned something. I did work on this yesterday, and then right after I worked on my practice sculpt, and I figured out that I can eliminate certain edges. Um, without having to ruin like the entire row and redo it just by clicking on three vertices and then just merging them in the center into one row. That actually works. Okay. I don't know why that never occurred to me before. It's just I'm not honestly I'm not very good at retopology. But the I wish I could just show you right now what I'm doing with the other one. I can't yet because I got to put clothes on. I went a little far with the anatomy, and it's a woman, so you know we have to kind of I gotta wait until I get some clothes. But what I'm going to try to do is once it's done, I want to show you what I did. I think I could maybe highlight some stuff and then hide the mesh and then show like the hands, like what I've done with the hands. I've really improved on them. I'm working on the feet next. The hands are almost done. The head's done. The head, I think I got the head. Okay. Basically, instead of doing like a grid straight up and down, I have it actually follow the form of the face and the edge loops and whatnot, and kind of just blend them into themselves. And it really makes it look a lot neater. I like I said, clothes are a different story for me because the form is so different that it kind of affects everything else. So I'm kind of in a way just winging. I think the shirt will be easier because it's just a sleeve and the body. So I'm not really too worried about the shirt. That's why I'm doing the pants now because I mean, look at them. We gotta get down there. I gotta end them somewhere in the boot. Okay, but other than that, I think we're doing all right. And I mean, like I said, yeah, I gotta get to the animation and see exactly what I need to work on. What is like how this performs. We're still a ways from that, but as soon as the other sculpt is ready, I'm gonna start doing like simple walk cycles and whatnot, and I'll update you on the progress for anyone that is interested in seeing that. I'm really trying to like get better, but not like rush it, So we got to see what we can do here, okay? Because I'm really interested in doing animation. Eventually, this is all gonna build up to like I don't know. I feel like that we're slowly heading towards animations and even maybe game design. I want to try to make a simple game. Welcome back, 99. We are continuing on the pants here. But that'd be really cool to try to figure that stuff out. I have no idea. I mean, I have some idea of what I want to do, but I gotta see. I gotta have to see where my skills are at before I can like really commit to something. I'm gonna turn in front back on because I want to see where this is, and it's a way over there. So we know that I want they have the vertex here. I want to put the vertex and line them up right there. So I'm just gonna move this all the way over. I'm not really too concerned about how this inside of the pocket looks. I just need that dimension there, so I can draw this cargo pocket from any angle, and it'll still have that basic silhouette of one. At least that's you know, my understanding of what I want here. And I feel like that would be helpful. So I'm gonna try to make sure that we keep the form. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about how that looks. So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna turn in front back off. All right. Let's see. Okay. Keep doing it. This particular character he is a supporting character, but he has a bigger role like later down the line. So he's not as critical to the story right now. And I would probably say like not ever to be honest, but he has a bigger role like later on. It's about this story is about a couple of college kids that find a secret government project and they try to use it to save their terminally ill friend. All of those characters are these three particular characters, it's two college students mainly, and those characters are the main characters, but I'm not starting the story introducing them right away. So we have a ways before you actually see the main character, but you will get to see some cool characters that have pretty decent scenes and that I made in the story along the way. And one of them is coming up right after this one. He has a pretty big role in the story, so I'm kind of excited to design the character. One, he's already designed actually, but to sculpt the character in 3D. But his clothes are very complicated. I'm not looking forward to that, so I want to make sure that they look exactly how I pictured it in my head. Okay, you'll get to see. I'm gonna show you my early concept art of him when I was right during and after I wrote the story, because my original plan was to write or design the characters like in 2D, let's just draw them out as I go, and then I decided to just focus on the story and then worry about drawing later. That did not do wonders for my art skill. You know, I it took me 3 years to write the first draft of the story, and I didn't draw at all during that time, except for at the very beginning, which is like the first couple weeks I think of writing. I was drawing. This was shoot. This was a while ago actually. I've been editing the story ever since just to make sure there's no problems with it. It's exactly the way I want it, and I'm doing the same with the art. I think part of the reason why I wanted to rely on references a little bit more for the stories, not just for perfectionist or perfectionism, but probably because of that hiatus that I took. And my art, it like when I well at least back then, not now, not so much now, but back then when I drew something, I kept trying to improve it. So I would draw it. And I'm like, well, let me try a different concept, and I would draw it again, and it would look like completely different. I'm like, huh, well, we can't have this on the page. We want to make sure the character looks the same across the page. So I kind of started pushing my workflow into this direction. What is going on here? And I don't think that's so much I have that problem now. Like I mean, I've already mentioned this, but I did do a 2D piece last summer uh, with like maybe like some light clothing references, and my art actually looked better than it did um, 2 years prior, which was the last time I drew something. So again, we're well, not so much. I think learning sculpting has actually improved my art. Even though I haven't really drawn anything in a long time, but yeah, I don't think I really have that problem anymore. I mean, technically, I could just draw the pages right now, but I've had so much fun doing the 3D that I'm just gonna keep doing this. I feel like if I could get better at doing this will open up a lot of other projects that I want to do. And even though it kind of makes the workflow take a little longer, I feel like the payoff would be better. Like I'd be able to do things faster with 3D assets being used as reference. So I want to see where this leads. I'm actually not really worried about how my art will look. I think I have what I want, the look of it, of what I want. It's going to be more of like like a semi-real comic book style, I guess. To describe, I mean, it might be a little bit more on the realism side, but it's still kind of semi-real. I know there's a lot of people out there who might not enjoy that over like a cartoony style or anime or manga. I haven't drawn anime or manga since like 1998. So I don't really see my art in that way. Although I do want to kind of return to it one day. I think I was thinking about doing my own um anime style. I have no idea um what that means. But just my own anime look. I know there's a lot out there, there's a lot of different styles out there. I know some people are kind of mixing like the Pixar with anime a little bit. That looks cool, but I don't know what would entail my own style that would like kind of set besides how I draw already, and then just making anime instead. I don't really know if I want to do like the realistic body but anime face. It looks the way it's painted looks good, but the two styles kind of clash in my eyes sometimes. I see a lot of that too, so I'm not really sure. Anime and realism are huge right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot. So I mean, I'm trying to like look. I was thinking about trying a more of a retro anime style, maybe like a '90s style, but I don't know, man. I just want something like if I'm gonna do anime, I want something that doesn't look like every other anime style. That's gonna be kind of hard to do, but I accept the challenge. I like challenging myself, trying to do things that I don't normally do. This is one of them because my art ends up always better for it in the end. And you'll most likely see me do this stuff. So you see how I try to figure stuff out. I don't mind, coming up with a dud on stream. It's okay. It's part of learning. Like right now, like I see this thing and I say, man, I could just straighten this right now, but then that'll be the next 2 hours of me doing that. I'll probably wait till, and, I'm trying to not to make a habit of this because we've done this on our previous goals, but I'm going to try to work on that a little later. Okay, I might do a little bit of straightening here and there. I'm looking at this. I don't like this here. Let's see. Let's reveal that and see what's going on here. Oh, wait till you see all the piles of dud I'll be making in July. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the summer because we will have our normal time schedule for streaming during the summer, definitely. Okay. That means I end around noon and I'll be starting um if not earlier than today, at least maybe an hour to 40 minutes earlier, around 7:30. I just put that in my schedule just so you have an idea. It's kind of flexible right now. Influx. My Saturdays are going to be in a little bit of chaos for the next month. So if I don't do a bonus game stream on Saturday, definitely Sunday. Okay. But other than that, yeah, I'm looking forward to the summer because it'll be a little bit more stable than, if not much warmer in here. I'm gonna have to have the air on, but you won't have to worry about that because I have I've my settings on the stream. You shouldn't even hear that at all. Mainly the sound around me, and of course my Echo Show, which is right next to my mic. So if any sound from outside picks up, you might hear a little bit of that. But other than that, every sound around, this is all you're gonna hear. It's all this. Not anything back there unless I clap really loud. A couple weeks I may have to work Friday mornings. Oh no. Uh, well, it'll be all right. We'll figure something out. Let's see. Center. Oh, what in the world is this? This is not. Oh, I see. Did I want to do that? No, I didn't want to do that. What I wanted to do instead was dissolve something here. I don't want this line to just end. I don't think that's a good idea. That's really not something that I think I will just we can't merge them because that's not going to look right. I'll still be able to tune on Fridays while I work. Just won't be able to focus as much as I do now. Well, my goal is to get Shadow Hearts done by October because we want to move into Zelda for the fall. That was supposed to be last fall, but of course, I had some real life stuff happen, so I couldn't do any streaming during the fall and for a little bit of the beginning of winter. But it's my goal to get through Shadow Hearts by the fall and go into Zelda. Okay. I don't know. I have a habit of playing Zelda in like during the fall months for some reason. I think that's when I actually started. Actually, I think that's when I played Ocarina of Time. It was when it was starting to get cold for the first time, way back. Back in the day when there was still Nintendo 64, fifth or sixth gen. I think that's fifth gen, and that's always kind of resonated with me. So we're gonna try to get to Zelda in the fall and do it once again, the whole franchise, if possible. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying Shadow Hearts. We're gonna get through that. Should be able to make some decent progress for this Friday. I'm gonna try to do a Minecraft stream this weekend too. Depending on where I fall with that, I think, or see, by that time I should say, planning on doing the Twilight Forest and maybe some building too. Right now, I'm trying to get my armor. I'm trying to upgrade my armor, but it's been a process. Normally, I would have it done, but there's some extra hoops I got to jump through apparently, so we got to do it. I just need a disenchanter. That's all I need, and I should be able to do it. But I got to make sure that some other ducks fall into a row here. I don't want to leave it like this. That's why I keep looking around here. I'm not actually procrastinating. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this. I Can I just merge these? No. Well, maybe. I don't want it to look like that though. That doesn't look right to me. I don't know. I don't think we should do it like this. That just doesn't work. Why don't I just leave it for now? Maybe when the whole piece of the puzzle is more apparent, we can do it. I don't want to spend too much time on this. At least not right now. I'll probably go back to it later on. But I want to get to the pants. I want to try to do the pants and get them done today. Hopefully, I'll still be within the streaming window because then I want to start my first emote because that's where we're at. We're getting emotes now. We got emotes. We have the ability to have emotes. Where are we going here? Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna do the close man. My plan is to do the close manually, of course, next time, and to uh, improve the retopology for clothing and to lock down the automatic rigging system that we have. If I can get those three things in the very near future, I will be in a couple steps in the right direction. It's been years and I still don't have emotes. Oh, you got a little bit. You got a little bit of emotes. A little bit. A little bit. A little bit. I need to get on that though. It's been like 23 days and I still don't have emotes. I just want to get them out of the way so I don't have to worry about them. So I have something, something. And that's my short-term goal. Maybe this week. Maybe today. I might switch over to Clip Studio Paint and then try to sketch out something. It's been a while since I've drawn something. And it's about that time. I've been trying to get my other sculpt done so I can use that as a test to this for this workflow for my comic, and we're going to see how that turns out. Okay. Kind of want to see how this like how I can plan something, plan a scene out in Blender. It's going to be like a little test run of that, and draw it, use it as a reference, and then how much of the reference are we going to use? We don't want to copy. You don't want to do a one-for-one copy of the pose um, if it's not a dynamic pose, which I don't think I'm probably going to do. Actually, I should do a dynamic pose just to see, because there's going to be a lot of that in the comic. It's going to be people running or jumping or ducking, and you want to make sure they don't look stiff. So I think that would be the best thing to practice first, right? Um, and of course, storyboarding. I think that would be a worthy thing to do to try to figure out how we're going to. Like I said, I have a pretty good idea of how the comic will look. So all we got to do is just basically just storyboard it. But the thing is, I've never storyboarded. I honestly never storyboarded anything in my life. So when I used to do comics when I was younger, I just drew them. Okay, I think that's how most people did it. But we're going to hash all of that out. I don't think I should bring this all the way down. I think I should just bring this row up. No, you know what? No, I should bring it down because it's down over here. These site builders are killing me with image cropping. Um, yeah, I don't think that would be a problem if you like built it from the ground up, but of course that would take longer. Honestly, I don't even know. As long as I can do 8 by 10 at least, I'll be okay because that's pretty much like printer friendly, you know, or Kindle friendly if it ever goes that far. Oh, please don't do that. Also, let me just go ahead and just Control Z that again because I don't want another thing there. Yeah, we're gonna have to move some of these down. I have to space this out. Okay. I think for clothing, because what I've done since I've done the body enough times, I think I can do that red topology without edge loops, but the clothing I might actually need the edge loops because it's not something that's smooth all the way around. We got to work around wrinkles and folds and whatnot, and that kind of throws me off a little bit. I can't just do it like a body because I need those folds in there. We'll lose them if I just just go over them. All these site builders use prefab templates and don't allow custom code. Yeah, I figured that. That's why I said it for that for something like that, it'd probably be better to just build it from the ground up. Okay, so we're gonna move this down. I know all about well, I mean, I built a website using Max pages back in 2000, like in 2000, remember? At the library. That was my first time building the site, and Max pages actually made it really easy. Like I didn't have like no instruction, there was no tutorials back then, there was no YouTube. I just figured it out somehow. I don't even remember how I even got into that. I think one of us built a website, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and then I just did it. And what I did was I made a Dragon Ball Z website. I stole all the images though. That was the only problem. That was the only thing. I took images from all the websites and put them on all websites. As a matter of fact, I took all kinds of stuff from. It was like it was really the. I would say it was almost a precursor to a Dragon Ball wiki. I just took all the information, I put it all in one place. But of course, they removed Max pages, and I was very proud that someone actually referenced my site on Yahoo using power levels because I had all that stuff from Japan, all the information from all the Japan compendiums. Because that's the only way you're gonna know if somebody like what power level they are at this time. It all comes from like the Final Fantasy has all like Ultimisias, I think, something like that. They have their own compendiums, right? But if there's these books they only release in Japan that give you more information about the story. That's where all the power level numbers came from. I had that information on the site too, and it was referenced at least once. Unfortunately, Max Pages just disappeared without a trace. I have no idea why, or nobody knows why. It just disappeared one day, and that's it. But it was a pretty interesting website. I named it Planet Saiyan 6, and if you're a fan of Dragon Ball in any capacity, you know that their main universe is Universe 6, I believe, right? Isn't that right? I didn't see too much of Dragon Ball Super, but all I'm saying, okay, is that I called that. All right. I was a pretty big fan of Dragon Ball Z back in the day. I got really into site building back then. I made one from Neopets and art. Yeah, I remember Neopets. I tried. It was fun. I didn't really get into it too much, but I did like it. I had an omelet and some stuff. I don't even remember what Neopet I had, but that's a lot. That was a lot of grinding. It would have been better if I had my own home computer. I would have definitely been in the Neopets more. But going to the library just for that was and then grinding something, and because I didn't always want to go to the library, so it's like, I don't want to do anything daily, any kind of daily things. I worked on my site weekly, and at school too. And but I don't remember logging in Neopets in school. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I definitely do remember doing it at the library though. I don't even remember my account or anything about the site or if anything is there. I don't know. Is the site still up? I don't remember nothing. I think I was Dread Omega. Dread is one of my OCs, and I had since I was in the Dragon Ball Z, I gave him forms, and he had his level 2 form. Yeah, I did that shit too. That's one of the things that I'm going to take out of the story. Okay, if I can get it to if I can bring that up to modern times, there ain't gonna be no forms, nothing like that. Okay, that's going out the window. That's one of the things that I'm modernizing. All right, we're gonna remove all of that out, all that stuff out of the story. That's not being carried over. Neopets had a massive reboot last year. It's on the come up. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have my own books and of course my own computer, so there's no reason for me to go to the library unless there's some. And if there's something I don't have, I just order the book. You know, I don't really care about the too much about the library anymore, but it was fun. I did enjoy doing it when I did do it. Libraries aren't what they used to be. Yeah, you're telling me. That's why I don't go to them anymore. I don't go there. It's just the modern resources have kind of outpaced libraries. I can unless it's something even then, like if I wanted to find out something about the city, they have that stuff online now. Like, I could just find archival information online. It's not really a big deal. I'm sure there's something that a library has that no one else has, but um it's not something that is currently useful to me right now. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna move this vertex right here to this edge. They're like community centers now. They also do movie, music, video game, board games. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that was always a thing. Yeah, I know people do tabletop games at the library in somewhere out there. I don't know. I don't know about here, but I definitely know that's a thing. Don't we have that? Don't we have separate art centers from the library? They don't use those anymore. You got the one at the park. You got the one. You got the one downtown. So on and so forth. I always see people online asking about, oh, hey, where can you do this, and this at? And they never say the library. Not at least not in this city. I try to still stay plugged into that stuff around here, but I don't know what's become of those because people seem to go elsewhere for things like that these days. They charge the artists a lot. Yeah. uh it's easier to just get the supplies and just find a place yourself. I've heard of some coffee shops, but never the library. Let's see, what do we got here? We're just moving, we're moving and grooving. They also have a seed library section where people can leave and take seeds for home gardens. It's so great. Oh yeah, that's interesting. All right, so we're just gonna keep going, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and just straighten this now because see, because I stretched this over, this we got a big face here. I'm not gonna worry about it though. These particular ones won't be animated. If I were to animate it, I would definitely and like if there were supposed to be something in the cargo pocket, I would just make the cargo pocket shake a little bit. It's very subtle. Like if you play a game like Metal Gear Solid 5, it's very subtle, but you can actually see the clothes move when the character moves. And I think that could be achieved with simple shape keys, but I've always appreciated that, and I kind of want to learn how to do that one day. So, when I design these characters, I think about things like that. We definitely for something like this, the red topology would have to be better, but this is one of the things that I would make move a little bit. Like if the character was running somewhere, just make this kind of shake a little bit. If you want it to. I know in Metal Gear he has like 550 cord around one leg to keep from his legs from making no well presumably to keep his legs from making noise because he's a sneaking expert or whatever. And I know what that's I know like when I see that on a character design I know what it's for because I've seen this stuff and I actually have some 550 cord in my closet right now. But he has that wrapped around his leg for that reason to keep from making too much noise when he runs. I've never actually seen that in real life, but I can get it. Like if I see that, I can kind of get what they were going for. 550 cord is like a universal cord that you use for pretty much anything. You could use it. You can use it for like parachutes, repair or whatever. Tie something down, something like that. I had a big spool. I have a big spool of it, but the spool itself was made out of cardboard, so it kind of collapsed on itself, and it's just a big ball of cord now that one day I'm going to have to untangle because I'm not going to throw all that cord away because I might you never know when you might need some of that cord, but I am going to have to untangle it. So that's going to be a fun project. It ain't going to be like Christmas lights. I'll tell you that right now. It's got to be at least a couple thousand feet. I'm going to need something to wrap it around. All right, so just trying to make sure that we don't lose too much control of how it doesn't look too bad. It's just this row is just a little bit thicker here. As you can see, the wrinkles, like it always draws my eye right here, but this wouldn't be too hard to fix. It just takes a little bit of time. That's what the inside of the pants look like. All right, what are we doing? Yeah, we're gonna close that off. All right. I'm gonna have to bring down all of this to match. No, I can just bring this up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, we're gonna have to. Oh yeah, I already did it. Never mind. So let me just go ahead and just click on that one instead, and just keep going. There was one flower. I forget the name of it, but I wanted to have this one flower in my house for bronchitis. Apparently, it was a flower that you could breathe in that would ease your lungs, and I wanted that flower. I just don't remember what it's called. I wonder if they have that at the library. That's one flower. That's one just enough for that. I don't really have to worry about that too much, but I always wanted that handy just in case. Just have that scent in the house in case I ever get caught bronchitis. I could just, it would actually ease my lungs a little bit. Having bronchitis sucks, and there's no way to prevent it. If it's, you know, once it gets in your lungs, you can't really take anything to stop it. I don't really get sick much anymore because I think I may have mentioned this somewhere, but I made a concoction that I drink when I feel like I've been exposed to some kind of illness, and it works every time for everything except bronchitis. It does not work because you breathe that in. Nothing you drink is going to affect your lungs. It's very hard to know what's there because it changes all the time. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to just order that offline and just get like a planter or something, just put it in my kitchen, something like that. I'm not really much of a gardener, but I did want that. Maybe some lavender too, because um, just to ward off. Um, I'm near wilderness, so it's easy for mice to come around here. I've been very successful keeping them away from here, uh, and I'll never have to worry about that. And I want to keep it that way. I feel like if I had some lavender planted somewhere, apparently they don't like that very much, so maybe that'll ward them off. Just keep them away from the property, so I don't open my door and just get a freaking a little rat race. something like that. When I come out. I don't think that will ever happen because it hasn't yet. But you never know. I'm sure other people who live in this neighborhood would appreciate that too. But just some ideas that I thought of. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this. I just have to improve. I got to improve my red topology a little bit more for clothing. That's basically it. But we're moving on down, moving on down the opposite of up. I should just go all the way down, but I would rather measure them after, or not beforehand, but after. I think about, well, actually, you know what? Beforehand's fine too, because let's see, one, two, let's say about three more rows will be at the bottom, right? If I keep them at this size, I'm not really sure. We'll see. I know there's a lot of different ways of doing red topology, and apparently one of them is measuring things out beforehand. I think that's where I'm leaning towards because I feel like I need to do that the way I do it. I kind of just I don't plan out ahead what I want to do with the red topology. I kind of just see what I did and then just change that next time. That's how I've been doing it. I guess you could call that winging it. But I think it would be a lot better if I just planned this out beforehand because I feel like that's what I need to do. I've tried it the ed like doing the edge loop way first. I think if I did the edge loops first and then try to line them up from there, I would have an easier time. I could do that on my practice sculpt. I want to see how that works because I already know. I know what I do know is from going forward, at least on the body, is to do the head, the hands, and the feet first because the legs and the torso and the arms will be much easier to do with those already done. They're very simple. You can make them big, you know, and everything will line up perfectly because you already got the finer details out of the way. So you can just dress off of them and do the macro and the micro stuff. You do the macro stuff and you can line those up way easier. I just need to figure out a system for the clothing. It's like look what we got here. We got all this. We got dips. We got hills. We got crevices, and we want to keep those details. So you don't want to make like a big square right here if you want to keep all this, which I kind of do. This is the back of the leg. Well, I mean, if I were to draw this, a lot of this wouldn't be used because the back of a leg does not really look like this. But and you can see his knees aren't really, you can kind of see your knees. I don't know, it's back. His pants are kind of baggy, but we can choose which details to keep at the end of the day. So it's not a huge difference, but if the details aren't there, then at all because I went over them, then that could be a problem. But at least if they're there, I can be like, okay, I can keep this like say like a for example, I don't know for sure, but like this, say like this would be more accurate to have at the back of the pants leg. I can keep that and then just not draw these at these two at the bottom, the top or the bottom, just the center. Things like that is what I'm thinking of. And of course, since these sit on top of the boots, we could probably just draw that in as is. But I have references for clothing folds, so I would probably follow that more than this overall. And I think if I do them manually, I can just take that guide and apply it to the sculpt, and just not worry about it at all. It's just going to look a little weird because if you're stationary, you're not really moving. It would be better to put those folds in like as if he was bending the arm or the shoulder or the knee, just have them in ahead of time so it looks fine when it's bent, but like when they're stationary, he's gonna look a little, you know, I don't know, it's gonna look a little less realistic, I think. But since no one's gonna be standing there in an A pose, you know, like in the comic or anywhere, it should be fine. It should be passable, I think. As opposed to having clothing with no wrinkles all the time, you know, that's gonna look a little fake if you're going for realism. At least, I mean, that's how I would approach it. I think having done this a couple times, I think I would just put the actual wrinkles in and just have them in all the time. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm gonna get past this other leg so we don't. So the snapping tool does not snap to the other leg because it always snaps to the closest object from when you're seeing the angle you're seeing, like this here. If I were to hit G right now, it's on this other leg right now. I'm just gonna cancel that. So you want to get past the leg and then hit G. So the surface that you're looking at is the closest. I don't know if there's a wait. Let me see if this control work for that because it works sometimes when I do loop cut and slide. Let me see control. Oh yeah, look, you can just press control and it ignores that. Okay. I'm still not gonna do that though. We're gonna just zoom in and do it right. All right. We're gonna zoom in and do it the way we've been doing it. I guess control ignore snapping. I actually don't know. Let me see. Hold on, because if I hit G and then hit control right now, what does it say? It doesn't say anything at the bottom. Or wait, yeah, it does. Let's see. Which one's control? Snap invert. Okay. It's inverting the snap. So I guess it snaps at the furthest instead of the closest, like this. I don't know. You know, the things that I've used to learn Blender doesn't they none of them ever teach everything about Blender. Okay, I essentially know about. I guess I got something equivalent to a crash course, and it just went from there. I to this day don't know everything about Blender, and I don't think I ever will. I don't think anyone does, really, to be honest, because that would take years of mastery. But I know enough to try to do what I want to do in Blender, so to at least make the attempt. That's good enough for me. I can sculpt a human with clothes and possibly rig them, and hopefully we'll move on to animation. That would be cool. Moving around. Internet tutorials make sure not to teach you everything. Yeah, of course. Even the ones that you have to pay for, which I find odd. Well, actually, it's not odd at all. That's actually pretty standard because you teach them everything one time, you can't charge them more. You know, if you have a penultimate, you have the ultimate compendium of learning how to do Blender. You just buy that instead of just buying a bunch of tutorials for different things about Blender. You know, so it actually makes perfect sense. There's something that I may have overlooked. I wanted to see if okay, all right. I saw this and I thought maybe I left an edge here. Um, I don't know why this is here. That can be ignored. This entire area is the edge. This is the corner. This is the side. So yeah, it just has multiple faces on that side. I just got a little confused for a second there. Because seeing it just like this makes me think that I left something here, but I didn't. It's just a mistake, I guess, that I didn't catch. Not really too worried about that because we can fix that down the line when we are supposed to. Or actually, we're not putting anything off. It's just finer details will be taken care of down the line. It's a process. It's the process. You gotta trust the process, I guess. I keep trying to deviate from it, but it allows me to know. Oh yeah, now I know why I have to do it this way because like I said, the tutorials don't tell you. They just say, "Hey, do this," and then that's it. All right, cool. Maybe one day we'll make our own tutorial. When I have a better grasp of this. When I feel like I can make a tutorial. Uh, let's see what we got here. All right, we're just Going on down. There's really nothing more to do since we're going in somewhat of a cylinder around the leg all the way down. It's really straightforward. So, you know, besides the folds, of course, and the wrinkles. It's actually 2.5. I guess we're just gonna have to short this row for the bottom of the thing. Well, we were pretty close. I think I said 3, but it looks more. It's more like 2.5. We're just gonna have to adjust the size. Just gonna do that. Basically, just extruding things all the way around. We've already laid the groundwork in the previous row, so that's really it. Wait, we may have an issue here. No, don't do that. I hit the Windows key. No, there's no issue. It's just the angle. The angle is weird. Put the vertex right on the edge, and we're gonna just continue. Just this row is something that is a little off. I think if I take these rows and move them over, that could be a fix for them. I think when the cargo pocket is completely done, I'll probably end up doing that. Trying to add my credits to my site. Your screen name equals ace in italics via CSS. Oh, you're gonna do like a scroll? Let's see. Yep, and there's a cargo pocket with the appropriate folds. I really hope I can manipulate these details better when we're in the micro details section. I'm going to be very disappointed if I get to that point and like, okay, now I can fix those little minute details and I can't for some reason. I'm like, well, now I know I need to get it right on the first try and for the next time, you know. That's okay. I have enough skill to be able to extrapolate what I wanted versus what I see, so it's not really at the end of the world if something is not accurately portrayed on this reference because I can look at the reference and say, oh, I know what that is, and just draw it the right way. At least that's the intent for not spending too much time on certain things or ignoring certain mistakes that I left in. You know, the ones that at the end of my stream that in addition to the ones from my site and comics. Yeah, I know what you meant. What I'm asking though is that are you going to make them scroll like the stream, or is it just going to be like a static page? Because a static page that should be easy. Just type that in. That's it. I think you could just put a GIF of your credits on the page and just have them scroll like that. You know, if you're that scene that you have, just put that, just embed that in the on the page. That should be super easy to do. I think. Okay, let's see here. What we got? What we got? Okay. Yeah, just complete the roll. Same old, same old. I'm typing it up for optimal PC or phone viewing. Oh yeah, got you. All right, we're gonna go around. Complete this row here. And that's another row out the way. All right, now I'm just gonna bring it all the way down. I'm just gonna just dress everything off of the cargo pocket. So things like this here, because for some reason I didn't see how this looked behind here. That's a little weird, but that's okay. We can take the faces and make those flat. We could probably lose these details. I don't know. We'll see. I got to see how they look when I shrink wrap the high poly onto the low poly. See what's there. It should be a one for one copy, but you never know. Let's all right. Just gonna keep going. I'm gonna just follow the cargo pocket edge right there. It's right over there. We're gonna do that right there. Just move over a little bit. I'm just gonna wait until the cargo pocket is completely done, but some things just stand out to a point where I'm like, okay, I can just move that right now. I'm really uh I'm a little I'm actually looking forward to posting my art again online. So I'm trying to make that happen. I'm being very picky about what I decide to post nowadays as opposed to before. Whatever I can make for my practice scope is probably going to be the first thing that I post. Not counting, the site stuff, or sorry, the stream stuff. And of course, what I'm streaming now, that's a thing too. We're posting that on YouTube, and it's going to be on this site too. So I guess you could make that count. But I'm talking about like an art piece, a finished art piece. What's going on here? I toyed with the idea of making an art piece for everything that I've played on the on this stream. I don't know. I don't know though. Like I was thinking about, should I do something for Shadow Hearts? I'm not sure what though, because there's so many things that I would draw in that game. All the grotesque monsters, the fusions, the characters. I don't know about the characters, to be honest. I'm not sure if any of them. I guess I think I did mention when we were playing Shadow Hearts that I could do like a splash art of Yuri and all of his fusions around him. I thought about that. That would take a long time though, because he has a lot of fusions, and two of them I didn't even get on stream. I missed two of them. I missed the I forget, the Seraphic Radiance, and whichever one. The one at the beginning of Shadow Hearts Covenant was the other one. Apparently you can get that transformation in the first game. I just missed it. Whoops. I might actually play through that game again, though. I care way less about only sharing good stuff. No one cares. The ones who do care about quality are going to be mad I didn't draw big titty anime girls. I'm not. I'm talking about just for me. I'm not really. I don't really care what other people say or do. If I want to draw a big titty anime girl, I'm gonna do it. If I want to draw a freaking, I don't know, something from Cartoon Network, I'm gonna do that too. I don't really care about what's happening, what the trends are. All right, I'm not doing that. I find my art turns out way better when I actually want to draw something that I feel like drawing. So I'm gonna stick to that. We're not doing an isekai here or a romance webcomic. Those are two very popular genres. We're not doing that. Although I've been looking, I'm like, okay, I've been very curious about that. I'm like, okay, what is this? What is it about these that everyone likes? I'm trying to see if there's a one that I would read. So I've been looking and seeing. I actually started making a list of the most popular ones of this. I want to see exactly. I want to read them all when I get the time too. I want to see exactly how these stories are constructed and how different they are from each other. I feel like they're all the exact same story, just going in. That's my assumption. Mary Sue is what they like. Well, I mean, I'm not going to dispute that. At least not until I see. I know that the isekai characters get, pretty much turn into gods, right? But I mean, back in the day, when I was younger, I was not exempt from that. I think my character was pretty godlike, but we're that's another thing, of course, that will be adjusted for the up when we update the story for with our real-time adult minds and what we've learned in this life as far as art and creating stories and whatnot, and of course your own experiences, my own experiences. We're going to update the story. I'm going to try to keep it one for one, but that is not, it's not coming back. Okay, that's boring to me. So we're not putting that in the story. I don't want something that the guy's gonna win. That's one thing I did not have. It was literally just my OC comes in, kills everyone, and then it leaves. That's the boring story. I don't want to do that. All right. Dot hack. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, that's another one we're playing. Yeah, I have those games, so we're not worried about that too much. Except for though, I got to put the online game together. I do want to try that still, but I do have all the games. That's another series we're gonna get into. I don't know when I'm gonna play that, but we're gonna get into it. It's all ready to go. I know nothing about dot hack. Nothing. Nothing at all. Manhwas and webtoons. I'm looking and I'm seeing. I'm looking and I'm seeing. All right. I'm trying to figure out, okay, which ones would I want? Or which ones would I read? That's question number one. But I find it interesting. I find it interesting that people are really into this, and I kind of want to see what's going on. See what's going on out here. But yeah, as far as as that, we're already not throwing our hat into that ring. So I mean, I'm not really worried about um what how people perceive anything that I draw. It's kind of a personal portfolio, and generally you want to put your best stuff in your portfolio. So there it is. Okay, we're gonna go down in front here. I want to see what the heck I'm looking at real quick. Oh yeah, okay, now I remember what I was going for here. We were going for a flat cargo pocket, but for some reason we did it on a surface that wasn't flat. So you kind of have that little fold on the bottom, which is what you would have if you like have a flat cargo pocket, and then you have a bulge right under it. So one of these we're gonna have to ignore. Make what happen? The online game? Yeah, we can make that happen. It looked really easy to set up. I just for some reason I kept putting it off. Well, I know the reason. It was other video games I wanted to play and didn't really didn't really put too much. But I have the parts. I think I still have the bookmarks too. If not, I could just easily find those again. But I'm pretty sure I still have the bookmarks. No, don't do that. This is the one we want to move. Or so you pick up the hard drive so I can start streaming some of the ones you grabbed from me. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to play GoldenEye again. I wanted to play GoldenEye and Perfect Dark again. I might do that. Even though I'm playing them by myself, those games are still very fun. But I miss the multiplayer. Uh, yeah, we'll do it like that. As far as this is concerned, oh, actually, that's a non-issue. We'll just move it like that. How about the apples? I think maybe not. Maybe not. Wait, I'm gonna turn that off, and then we're gonna see how this looks. How that is looks. No, maybe. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Should I just do this and then just dissolve it? I can't really tell what surface I'm looking at here. Is it the side? No, it's the bottom. It's actually the bottom. But then why does it look like that? You know, it doesn't matter. We can dissolve that vertex and just do like that, I guess. But then why is this here in the first place? That's what I'm. You know what? Maybe we can leave it. Maybe we can leave it. Yeah, hold on. Let me just put this down. Yeah, I've been in the mood to play retro games, but I want to keep up the progress of the franchise, and of course we're also playing the co-op streams in Minecraft. So uh, one of these things eventually will be a retro game stream one day. Let's see. I don't know why that's there. I really don't. All right, hold on. Let me put this edge. Let's dissolve this edge. Okay, looks a little better. Yeah, actually, okay. Maybe we were just looking at that wrong. Let me grab this vertex and just bring that down. May 1st to May 10th, I'll be ready any day you say. Okay. G. Okay, let me try to. All right. That looks like it needs to be straightened. Move it like this, perhaps. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Like that, maybe. All right, so this is going to be. All right, I know what I'm going to do here. Nothing. I'm not going to do anything. I was going to do something. I was going to dissolve one of these two lines, but I decided not to. Okay, let's see. We got. Why we just hit F on those two. One of these two lines should go. Should be this one. No, if I dissolve this one, then I have to pull this one back up, I think. Well, it's on the underside, but still. We are trying to have some consistency here. Hmm. I'm looking and I'm wondering. Yeah, maybe I should just dissolve this line. Or no, this line. I don't have to actually, you know what? No, you don't have to. We can use the trick that I learned yesterday and just merge these together. That'll do just fine. I figured this out on my practice sculpt. I could, if I instead of trying to delete a whole row or a row that's incomplete, we could just merge it together into an existing row. Call it a day. Look at that. There. Let's make sure we can see those edges, and there. Press problem is solved. Problem is freaking solved. All right, no problem, 99. And I think we can do the same thing with this as well. I can't see where the edge is. I'm going to take in front off and look. Okay, looks like we're good. Put it back on. There. I'm willing to bet there are other rows up here that we could do the same for, make it a little bit neater. Maybe like these rows that are close together. I can actually merge those instead of just deleting the whole row. Which I guess is sort of the same thing, but it doesn't really affect the flow too much. Makes it better. It doesn't affect it like in a negative way. But I'll think about that later. And I think I can do this. I can probably, I'm gonna merge these rows too. Hold on, wait. All right, in front, yeah, because we don't need this skinny row once it leaves this area, so we could probably merge those two. Try that. Merge, 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 merge. Merge at center. I don't think at center will always be the best choice. Matter of fact, let's see. What else do they have? At first, at last, collapse, at cursor. No, you know, okay, we'll just stick to at center because I'm not really sure what the other ones do. Yeah, how about that? How about them apples? Okay. Of course, we made a triangle there, but like I said, that's not really something I'm concerned about right now. And this looks like it's a hole there, but when I change it, you know, it's normal. It's fine. Oh, we got something here. Oh, this is where I started, I think, isn't it? Yeah, that's where I started. Okay, I know what I have to do now. We got to taper that off because of what we've done on this side. If I would take that row and keep going, it would spiral, and I don't want the rows to spiral. I want the rows to stand alone. So if I delete a row, you know, it doesn't unravel the thing like a ball of yarn. I feel like that's bad, like super bad. I've had that happen. Well, if I had to go back, I felt like, you know, if I deleted a row and it started spiraling up, that's not good. I feel like that's not a good thing. So we try to avoid doing that. Let's see. Okay, about this. Oh, this is the same thing, I believe. Okay, let's not start from there. Please. All right, we have to start a new row, and I don't want to start it here because if I feel like I start it here, it's going to do exactly, or will it? Yeah, because since it'll be here, it'll spiral still. So we got to start a whole new row somewhere, anywhere really. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to go in that direction because I want to address this. I want to make sure that this is, oh, you know what? It's probably a little too large. Yeah, that's fine. I really don't have a universal size for some reason. That's normally when you're doing the leg, that's what you would have. But for some reason, we got, well, I know why, because of trying to get the small details in there kind of screwed me over a little bit. I screwed myself with that. We did not plan that ahead, so we kind of have some differences in the retopology sizes there, but that's something that you can fix easily. All right, so I'm going to try to do another row here. Oh, no. Please don't. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to head around here, trying to keep this stuff straight. This row looks like it could be collapsed. Definitely this one. I might actually try that. All right, let's try to go around. Okay, now this is a row. Now it's part of this row. See, if I would have done it the other way, it would have just, we would have kept going all the way down inadvertently. We want to do a complete row. Looking at this side here, just seeing how it looks. I mean, we for the most part, we've kept all the wrinkles that we had before. They might be a little inaccurate as far as the wrinkles are concerned, but like I said, that's something that I can just do myself if I need to. We won't have to worry about that anymore though, because I think I'm doing manual close just going forward. Okay, let's see. Just gonna keep going here. Going around. I'm just thinking about the comic itself. I cannot wait till I start doing pages. I know that it's gonna turn out the way I want. I feel like I'm already there. It'll be nice to see the finished product. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta stretch. I'm stretching in place. Yeah, very exciting. I can see it in my head, and I know it's probably going to be even better in when I get to you know, the actual page itself, the way that I envisioned it when I wrote it. We just got to put all the pieces together. That's all we got to do. Okay. Whoa. I've hit Shift and Windows key. I was trying to hit Alt and Shift. That allows me to pan the camera like this. Sometimes I make that mistake hitting the wrong keys. All right, we got to get in between his legs here. I'm going to try to move this and groove this. All right, we're gonna go around. I think the size is all right. We're just gonna keep going around here. Just gonna complete this row because we can. Oh, that looked weird. I almost thought for a second there that there was a short row in the angle, but when I turn, it's a super wide one. That's not really something that I was expecting. Second there. Okay. What do we at the knee? Almost like the way it was, like it's shaped. Almost looked like that's where the knee should be, but that's not the case. I don't know what happened there. Okay, let's see. Going to keep going. Oh, there's a short row. Okay, I'm not really sure what I was looking at anymore. I don't know if I was looking here or if I was actually looking there, and I don't know. Actually, I don't know, but I do know that I want to take this row and bring it a little bit more even with the rows before it. No, I don't. I'll bring this side down instead of bringing this side up because then we have to bring the entire area up. I That's just something I'm just gonna have to do every time I make a row because of the way that, like, the angle that I'm doing this and the terrain that I'm doing it on just severely affects the size depending on how I look at it. So no, don't do anything right there. I accidentally hit right click a bunch of times of something. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. All right, we're gonna go down, 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 down. Is this? Should I do this? What happened? Why am I stretching this down further? All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take the time to straighten this out a little bit. It's making it super long. That's the problem. Maybe I should just shrink it. It's mainly because of the cargo pocket. Oh, I don't want to do that. I have to right click to cancel that. No. Hmm. I don't know. That's looking a little wonky. I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, so my thinking now is to try to find a compromise between down and up and try to just like hover in that zone so we have some similar sizes for these here. I think these are too long. I think what I could do is probably just loop cut and slide another row there to try to fix it, but then I'm going to have to bring these down as well, which I was already doing. Apparently, we let the size get a little carried away here somehow, but we can fix it easily. I think we're already there. Why are these so much longer than the other ones? I don't know. Anyway, we know how to fix it, so it's not really a big deal. Not really a big deal at all. Okay, let me move this down. Okay, loop, cut, and slide. Here, this is what we need. That'll do. I just want the edges to not clip into the thing, so we're gonna go around, click, and fix them just by trying to move, just like clicking, move, and then just not doing anything, just right clicking, not right clicking, but left clicking to just keep them in place. I notice sometimes I'll right click. That's why I said that. Sometimes I'll right click and then nothing happens. I'm like, wait, what did I do wrong? Like, no, you have to left click. You just hit G and then click. That's the new. That's pretty much the new positioning. You have to save it. Right click cancels it, so it doesn't really fix it. I do it so fast I don't really think about it, so I couldn't really say out loud if I was right clicking or left clicking. Anyway, none of that really matters. Here we are. And we won't have to, we shouldn't have to delete one side and remirror it either. This is fine as is. I think it's already mirroring the other side. I don't think we'll have any problems either way. We did the cargo pockets symmetry is pretty much did not, change when we were doing it. So we can go on ahead and just leave it. Once it's done, it's done. I only had that problem with the LBE for some reason. I still don't know what happened there because it wasn't something that normally happens. It's the first time that ever happened. Of mirroring or the mirror like not mirroring and the sides just not being the same or at least similar. They weren't even similar. It was like they were like completely different. I can only affect one side and not the other. We shouldn't ever have that problem again because, like I said, we're going to manually do the close. So everything should be as it should be. All right, so I'm going to start another row here, and we're going to make sure that, oh yeah, wasn't I supposed to straighten out something in the cargo pocket? Oh yeah, it was this. We were supposed to take this row and bring it over. I completely forgot about that. See what happens? And we don't even have to do that. Why is this row, this row is completely missing. I wonder why I did it that way. I don't even remember what happened. Yeah, okay, we can loop cut and slide it right here. We're not going to do that though. What we're going to do instead is just subdivide. And then we're going to switch to vertices. Where is the... There we go. Now we can see. But not right there. I just want to line it up so that way we can just go like this and then right click and connect vertex path. And we're just going, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what we want. No. All right, so we got to make sure that this is where we want it. Let me, I need to take off in front. What is going on here? Oh, it actually is pinched in real life. Not in real life, but you know, just in real life, but it's actually pinched. You know what I mean? This isn't real life, but you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, it's just the way it is. Okay. I want to connect that vertex path underneath. I don't want it coming out. And you know what I'm gonna do? No, we can leave that. We can leave that. All right. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And we're going to just have that row come all the way down this way. And it can end or it could keep going. I don't know. I think it'll keep going because I was thinking about merging this row together. Yeah, I'm seeing some rows that are just ending here. Maybe we can merge these. These are things that we need to look out for in the future with clothing. That's okay. We're going to make it. We're learning. We're going to make it. We're going to do it. It's going to happen. Subdivide. Okay, and then we're going to switch to vertex and move this over. We're going to connect the vertex path. Why is this going down like that? Is that always like that? Oops. Okay, we have to look at it straight on because looking at it, trying to line it up here for some reason, even though we can see it at this angle, was not a good idea. We have too many vertexes or vertices selected. All right, now we can do it. Now that we're looking at it at an angle where we can see it correctly, we can connect the vertex path. That's still a little down for some reason. I don't know why, but oh, I see. Yeah, it curves out. That's why. We're gonna fix it because once we add that row, see now it's properly connecting to the thing. This was actually better for than what we added. So all right, so I'm gonna take this edge here, subdivide it. I'm gonna try to move it so I can see it. Go to vertex, slide it over. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to adjust it a little bit. Okay, there we go. Select them both and connect that vertex path again. We'll just make the row that way. It's perfectly valid. That way we don't have a fat row here and nowhere else on the thing. We could probably go around on this row too. Now I guess actually gets skinny. Of course it does. I think this was one of the ones we collapsed, maybe. Doesn't really matter. I think we'll just leave that. We can leave it like that. I'll probably just do some manual adjustments later. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was right here. All right. Subdivide, click, and then we're gonna go vertex. No, what did I just do? I don't know. All right, we're gonna select the one in the center. Move it. All right, now we can select both vertices. And then we can connect that vertex path like so. I'm gonna pan around, just looking, just kind of just taking in the sights. Yeah, we can bring this, we can bring these rows down. I have it set up to where it's lined up underneath, and that's why it's, even though that's not the one I was looking at, I was looking at this one. But yeah, it'll be all right. We'll fix it. All right, so I'm gonna take this and we're just gonna keep going. Same scenario here. Bring it all the way down. Vertex. There we go. That's what we want. Connect that path. I can move it now. It doesn't really matter when, just as long as I move it. All right, yeah, it's following the form a little bit better now with that row there. I don't know why that row wasn't there in the first place. I'm going to assume that it was something I did because it's always something that I did. I did all of this. Okay. Whew. Sorry about that. Okay. Same. Oop, I don't know what I just did, but we're gonna Control Z that 2 times. I did extrude edges. We didn't. I don't think that's a good idea. All right, connect that vertex path. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, now we're bringing it in here. I'm thinking about merging this row, these 3 rows together. But if I do that, we're going to have the same deal again, but on this side. So that's leading me to believe that that's what I did before. I actually don't remember why that was there. I could have just been the way that I did it. I don't know. I think we should just leave it alone. We're gonna go continue going all the way down. Let's see. Oh no, we're not gonna. I almost hit merge for some reason. We went to connect the vertex path, not merge it. All right, almost done with this correction here. Subdivide. Connect. Going to need to move it. So why is this one so crooked? Actually, I'm the reason why, because I did it. All right, so we're not gonna ask that question. We already know why it happened. All right, subdivide. This is the last row. Vertex. Select them both. Right click and connect the vertex path. I'm just going to select that one and hit G. That should reveal it to us. All right, there we go. There, now we have a low poly, the low poly version actually following what we did before. The form of it, I don't, for better or for worse, it now more resembles what was underneath. So now we can finish doing this row. That thick row was really bothering me, and I felt like I should just fix it right then and there before we get too far away from it. That way now I can still just look at this and say, okay, I just need to generally straighten everything, okay? Um, I'm looking at this now. If I move this up to try to see, this is what I was thinking. This is what I said earlier. What was going to happen was if I covered these completely with this big square, I'm going to lose those details. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have to shorten these to at least about right here. That should preserve, that should, for the most part, preserve them, okay? Okay, it was just a small, minor shortening mission here. Yeah, we can just go on ahead and just keep going. I think we'll be fine. I don't actually know. When I did this in my last sculpt, before I actually lost those details, for the most part, all the wrinkles are there, and if they needed to be fleshed out more, then during the micro details is when it would happen. So I think we'll be okay. My last sculpt, I sculpted on the wrong side of the polygon, so textures didn't show properly, and that's where all of my details were on the inside of the mesh instead of the outside. So when I flip it back over, it kind of ruined the details that I did a little bit. But the clothes looked way better than the one on my first sculpt at first. Now it's about the same. And I did not want to correct it. I said, okay, I'm just gonna make the all the corrections on the next sculpt. So that's what I did. Also, I'm gonna take that LBE and just and copy paste it onto the previous sculpts too. I hope that it doesn't mess up the textures when I do that. I'm gonna have to bend them out of shape a little bit for the big guy because he's kind of portly. He has a big belly, so I'm gonna have to like kind of stretch him a little bit. But it shouldn't do too much to the textures or to the details. You're not really supposed to do that after you bake something, but since, like I said, since it's not gonna be really animated, it shouldn't be too bad. That's part of the reason why I opted to create uh the the same clothes but their own clothing, even though they're technically wearing the same uniform, same equipment and everything, but I created it over and over again because that's something that I'm going to have to do in the future. When I do go and when I do try to animate something, like if I'm trying to do a game dev project, I'm going to have to create everything and not copy paste it if they are different sizes. All right, let me actually no, the one way that I would do around it is just to make it, yeah, I guess that's generally the reason why everyone, it seems like anyway, everyone creates the same size characters for their game so they can do that. That would be one way around it. Now I understand a little bit better why that's the case, because when you create a different body type with clothing on it, then I mean, at least as long as it's not a simple scaling job, like if you did that for a kid, you just scale everything down. I don't know if that's the case, but that sounds like something that could be plausible to me. But if like you make a big guy, in your game and everyone else is skinny, then you're probably going to have to do I don't know if you can just stretch the textures around that character. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I really could have just copy pasted the clothes all this time and just didn't know it. Maybe there's a way you could do it. I have to look into that actually. I am gonna look into that. That way I would know for sure. I don't have to wait to animate something like that. I could probably just find that answer if I look for it. Okay, let's see. This. I'm just gonna move this down a little bit just so it's a little bit more even. I'm gonna have to do that all the way around apparently. It goes up and then it goes down like a beret or something. Kind of reminds me of like you put this here, or maybe like a chef's hat, and you got the little fold up here to kind of reminds me of a beret a little bit, the shape of it. I don't know why that popped into my head. I'm just telling you why I said beret. All right. All right. So anyway, oh wait, stop. Grab this. Okay, go. All right, yeah, we just got to bring these down a little bit. I don't know why I started there. I'm trying to eyeball the distance from the other side for some reason. I wanted to see if it would work that way. I grabbed it, I followed it, everything from what I saw just now. I feel like if I could just guesstimate and just move everything right here, and it'll start looking a little better. Yeah, that's almost about right. I don't know why I chose to do it that way instead of being more precise, but that's just how it happened. Okay, a Sharingan did. Let's see if it worked. I popped in my Sharingan and I spun around the character, and that's what I came up with. That's probably the only manga that I've ever read was Naruto. That's not true. I mean, not from start to finish. We'll say that. Not even start to finish. From Shippuden, from the beginning of Shippuden to the end. I actually never read the first part of Naruto. I didn't read that part. I don't ask me why. I was more interested in the Shippuden. I didn't want to watch. I don't know. I saw the final like the manga. The anime is what got me into Naruto a little bit. No, actually, it was the games. Okay, I got a PSP in a different country, and I saw Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Heroes. And I was like, huh. I was like, this looks. I recognize this. You know, I've seen these, and I've seen this cartoon like magazines and stuff over the years. I was like, oh yeah, the Orange Ninja, right? So I got it, and then I learned about the game, the story through that game. All right, and then when I came back, they were playing it also on Cartoon Network for a bit. I came back briefly, and I was like, oh yeah, this is that game I play. Let me watch and see what's going on. I've seen a few episodes of part one from that. Okay, I saw it was the Chunin, like a couple some like one or two things from the Chunin exams, their first S rank mission, and the final fight, in the Valley of the Dead. Those are the only things that I've seen from part one. And then after that, after the time skip, I was like, okay, I want to see where the story left from that. Because I felt like all the other stuff didn't really matter, and maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I got the gist of what was going on just from those the tuning exams and so on and so forth. So then I went but I saw Shippuden from start to finish. Not seen. I saw Shippuden the anime up to Danzo, I think. And then the manga was out, was far outpacing the anime, so I switched to the manga and read that to the end. That's basically it. That's the only manga that I read extensively was that one. I saw a little bit of Pokemon because I wanted to see how it started. It's very different from the anime. You're playing as Red. I mean, not playing. You're reading as Red. You're reading Red's story, which is not Ash at all. And someone I know was really into Goblin Slayer, so I took a look at it, and I don't know if it's for me. There's a lot of assault in that story. Okay, like sexual assault. I was like, what the? It's like every story. It's literally every single story. Every chapter has that. I was like, I don't know if I want to read uh any more of that. See, but the Goblin Slayer himself was pretty interesting. Goblins are very very low ranking monsters. They have like a letter ranking system for all the monsters, and the Goblin Slayer decided that these low ranking monsters were like the biggest threat, so he only hunts them for the most part because their numbers and whatnot. And of course, the goblins they kidnap, and they that's how they get their numbers up. Okay, that's how they keep their numbers up. I saw that, and then I saw another one that was kind of the same story but told from the goblin side. And I can't remember what it was called. I didn't get too far into that one because I felt like it was the same. I was reading the same story. Uh, yeah, that's basically it. To be honest, I mean, those are the only mangas. No, only mangas that I've really read any part of, any portion of. I have a list of anime though that I wanted to, because I haven't really seen it in so long. I don't know. I got some recommendations. I'm slowly working through that. I haven't done it in a while, but because I have to be in a mood to watch anime. But I have a list of anime to go through. I think I'm on Full Metal Alchemist. That was one that was recommended to me. I'm pretty sure that that still would be one that people recommend. So that's the one that I'm currently on. I think I seen his Future Diary, which I actually liked. I actually liked Future Diary. I seen oh man, I don't even remember. Tower of Jiragua. Was it Jiraga? Jiraga. Rage of Bahamut or Bahamut. Um, did I see Higurashi when they? I don't remember actually. I seen a couple already. Okay, that's the point. That was on this list that I have. I can't think of them right now. I have to look at the list. I don't feel like looking at it right now, but I got a list. Working through it. Seen like 7 animes off of it so far. If anybody has any recommendations, I am open to them. Open. All right, let me see. Oh yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen. I seen a little bit of that too. That was okay. I heard people didn't like the way it ended though, so we're gonna look forward to that. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save it because we got a decent chunk here where we started up here and we came down. That took a long time. What the? All right. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. Sorry, I try to get through this section. I got to do it. I think, like I said, once I show the second half of this, I'm just gonna probably what I was thinking about doing was changing up my art streams a little bit and then just doing more since pretty much showed it was a little just disjointed, but I showed once I show the entire process of how I'm currently doing 3D art, I think I'm going to start varying it a little bit, especially when we get to these portions. I don't want to stream retopology the whole time. I feel like that's most of my streams at this point when it comes to 3D art. So we're going to attempt to change it up a little bit, okay, and do other stuff, and I'll just do this off stream, or maybe just like do or cut down on the art stream anyway, because I noticed that we were pretty dang close to streaming daily, and I never wanted to do that. I just felt like streaming because I was having fun with it, so I just did it. Um, but that's not my intention. But we'll see. That's a little bit. I'm just kind of toying with the idea of changing things up a little bit, so we'll see. See what happens. Uh, Making another roll. I mean, what more can I say about this? It's very. This, oh man, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna make it. This is very tedious, very very tedious. It's an important step. Wait, hold on. Let me click this. All right, we're gonna close this up. But yeah, I was thinking about doing that. Like I said, if I was, see, no, we may not have time now, but if I had gotten through this a little bit quicker, I would have switched to trying to make an emote or something. But I guess I'll just have to save that for another, either later or maybe another stream. Even I don't know. But I want to make an emote. I want to make a 2D art. Welcome back, 99. We're still doing the pants. You didn't miss anything. I mean, you missed like maybe like 30 squares, I guess. 30 squares or rectangles. Maybe some corrections here or there. You didn't really miss anything, okay? I'm seriously considering switching up the art streams a little bit. This might not be something that I should stream all the time. I feel like I only stream retopology these days, and it's very, very tedious. I wanted to be here for squares. Well, you don't worry, we got plenty more to go. Got all the squares up in here. They got all the squares up in here. What was I saying? I was talking about manga. I said the only manga that I read from start to finish was Naruto Shippuden because I was mildly curious or interested. I wouldn't say curious. At that point, we were past curiosity. Curiosity, okay. I said the only manga that I read from start to finish was Naruto Shippuden, and I was talking about how I got into Naruto briefly, and that I haven't read too many mangas, and I said that I knew someone who was really into Goblin Slayer, but that wasn't really for me because it seemed like every chapter somebody was getting assaulted, and I read pretty far into it. Okay, I read like, well, I don't know how far it is, but I read like 50 something chapters, and that seemed like it happened every single episode, or not episode, but every single chapter. So I was like, I don't know, man. I kind of like petered off of that a little bit, and then I read something that was very similar to it, but it was told from a goblin's perspective. Okay, I think that was an isekai rather than whatever Goblin Slayer is. I'm not even sure if that's an isekai. And I read a little bit of Pokemon Adventures because I wanted to see how it started, and that's it's more like that manga is about Red, the character you play as in the game, the actual game, and not Ash. I don't even think Ash is in that story, but yeah, it's about Red, and that's basically it. Those are the only ones that I've read, and like I've kind of read a little bit of those. I didn't read all of them, just a little bit. But Shippuden was the one I read from start to finish. I didn't actually see any of part one. I saw a little bit of the Chunin exams anime, their first S rank mission, and the Sasuke and Naruto fight between the Valley of the Dead because of how it was animated is what got me into it a little bit. And I was under the assumption that the entire anime was animated that way. I was wrong, but still, there was a point where I kind of got a little invested in the story anyway. So, but those are the only parts that I've seen in part one. I didn't actually get into part one. It was just Shippuden. Okay, so that's what I did. Animated one season. I know about that. Yeah, I know about that. I haven't seen that yet, but I know all about it. Um, yeah, those are the only mangas that I read, and I'm still working through my anime list. I haven't. I actually I have to be in a mood to watch it. I spoke on that. But I'm still on. I think the last anime that I started was Full Metal Alchemist. I'm gonna have to start it over because I'm starting to forget. I just remember the dog creature that was posted in the Discord. I remember that. That was very memorable. I'm not gonna forget that. But the rest of it I'm kind of fuzzy on, so I have to get back into that. But I think I knocked off like 7 anime in that list. I might. Oh yeah, Hunter X Hunter was another one. I did. I think I remember Taro Jiragua. I remember Future Diary, which I liked. I remember Jujutsu Kaisen. I remember Rage of Bahamut, and there was another one with about an orphanage. I keep forgetting the name of it. Oh yeah, and Darker Than Black. I read it. I went through those two. They're all okay. I think out of those, Future Diary was the one that I which was the very first one that I watched, was actually the one that I actually liked a lot so far. And there was another one. There was something else too. Oh yeah, Hunter X Hunter. I didn't get that. Okay, I didn't get it. I didn't get why people like that one so much. So I'm gonna rewatch it because I'm really trying to understand. I'm gonna rewatch Hunter X Hunter. I'm gonna do the old and the new version because everyone talks that one up, but I don't know. I wasn't really into it, and I'm just trying to understand it better. Maybe I wasn't like, I don't know, half in, half out. I had it on. Maybe I was doing something else like drawing, for example. I do that a lot. And I want to try to give it another shot. Okay, it seemed like the genre of the anime just kept changing. It went from like a tournament fighter to like, well, it went from like hunting monsters, which they never actually did yet, learning how to hunt monsters. I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna learn how to hunt the monster, then they're gonna go out and have the adventure, right? Wrong. as soon as they get their license, they just go right into a tournament against other hunters for something. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then they went from that to like, then it kind of became Naruto or maybe Bleach, where you have these two groups of people that are fighting, like these two gangs. It went into that, and then it went into, okay, now we got to go into this computer world, this virtual world, and do some stuff there. Okay, and I'm like, I was a little confused as to what kind of anime I was watching, but I wasn't all the way paying attention to it. So I'm gonna try it again. Okay, I feel like when I do that, I try to give everything that I consume a fair shake. You know, try to understand how they did things, where they coming from. I'm approaching it from a creator standpoint, because I consider myself that. So I'm trying to understand it better and see where they were coming from with whatever they chose. So some of these I'm going to watch over again. But for the most part, yeah, I enjoyed looking at the recommendations that I've been given. Let's see here. What do we got? I wanted to like Hunter x Hunter, but it's so generic. That was my first interpretation of it. The best part was that the main character kept getting beat. Well, I mean, that's not really something that is that's not a new concept to me. I mean, Ash is like that, right? Um but yeah, I mean, I understand. Anyways, my recommendation was the best. Thank you. I have great taste. Oh well, you're welcome. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Future Diary was the one I liked the most. I was heavily invested in that. This was during the pandemic too, so I had the time to watch it. I was fully focused. Actually, no, I think I was building Ball of Raining at the time when I was watching that. But anyway, but I was still fully focused in it, even though I was doing that. So I was like, oh, I like where this is going. Yeah, it was a very bleak story, but I liked it. I'm surprised I'd never heard of it until that point. But yeah, that was my favorite. That's my favorite so far. Um, but yeah, people kept saying, at the time, people were really, oh yeah, Hunter x Hunter, Hunter x Hunter, this, Hunter x Hunter. I was like, okay, 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 okay. And then they made I think they're making a fighting game of Hunter x Hunter, so that's interesting. But yeah, when I actually watched it, I was like, I don't get it. So yeah, I'm gonna try it again. Okay, not saying it was bad. I don't know. I don't know. Something I'm missing, maybe. We're gonna figure that out. And we're gonna see what happened with Witch Hunter Robin, because I don't that actually made me not want to watch anime for like 10 years, 10 plus years. And I was a little salty about Dragon Ball, like having to wait a week for fillers in Dragon Ball Z. I really do not like doing that. Well, I mean, especially when it's weekly. When you can binge watch something, fillers don't really bother me. They don't bother me much now, honestly, but back in the day, when all this stuff was new to me, I did not like filler episodes, and that kind of led to me not watching it. And I hear Bleach is like infamous for that. So yeah, I don't even know if I have Bleach on the menu, but maybe I do on the recommendation list. I'm not. Bleach is it's not something I want to consume. Okay, sounds like you got it all. People like Hunter x Hunter because it's all tropes. I mean, everything is all tropes. That's not that's something that's not exclusive to Hunter x Hunter. Like literally every story is all tropes. That's not really a fair thing to say, because it's not a unique thing. Like, even though I didn't get it, and I don't see what people like in it, I gotta say, yes, that's not a fair criticism for it. But what I learned is that it's made by the same people who like Yu Yu Hakusho, and that's like a whole tournament fighter. That's like a tournament fighter. That's like all tournament, right? I wasn't into it, at the time that it was on Toonami, but I'm kind of willing to give it a shot now, because of Hunter x Hunter. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something there. I don't know. Yeah, Bleach interrupts its own filler with multiple times. Yeah, I know that. Yes, I heard about. I seen a flow chart of it, and I'm like, I feel like I would hate that show. At least I would have at one point. But we're better now. Okay, we're better. We're better than that now. So I don't know when, but I'll see. I'll take a look at that. And One Piece, even though I got like a billion episodes of One Piece, if I start One Piece, I'm just gonna keep watching One Piece until something else happens. I don't know what's gonna happen. That's like 1,000 or so episodes. We'll never be done with One Piece when we start that. So I might put One Piece last on the list just for that reason. Let's see. No Ace. Hunter x Hunter is a comfort show for many because it's made from the ground up to be anime tropes. I mean, I see, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like that's every anime. But you're talking to someone who is not really super duper into anime like that. So I don't know. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there who will fight to the death about what anime is, but there was a point where I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm watching this. I feel like I've seen this already. All right. And I stopped watching it as a result of that for a long time. There's only a very handful of animes out there that are really unique. And even they have those same. It's just the way that I feel like people who make anime tell the story. You know, it's like a, it's a cultural trope thing more than anything. And when people see that that worked, they try to do the same thing. One Piece is so good. I do hate it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You hate wait, let's be clear on what you hate here. What do you hate? You hate filler? What do we hate here? What's going on there? Yeah, One Piece is a lot. Bleach and Hunter x Hunter. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I okay, yeah. I said that I feel like that at once upon a time I would have hated Bleach, but I'm willing to give it a shot, okay? I am I know it's a shonen, all right? Shonen are a little formulaic as it is, right? So we're just gonna have to accept it. I'm going to give Bleach a shot. I don't know when. I'm gonna see. We're gonna see what's going on. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens. I just have to be in a mood to watch anime, and I have not been in that mood in a while. So I'm just gonna have to just consume it when the time is right. That's how I treat it. Okay, because I feel like if I binge watch anime, I'm gonna slip back into my old self and stop watching it. It was a very love hate relationship with anime. I started off really liking it and really calling myself a fan, and then after a while, it just made me really bitter for some reason. I was like, man, what the? I don't know what happened, man. I don't know. Maybe it was teenage angst. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to understand, and it happened with Witch Hunter Robin. That was the time when I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not watching this shit anymore. I just stopped watching it. I need to figure out why that happened. I'm trying to understand myself. Okay, I'm trying to understand what the hell happened. Let's see here. What we got? I don't know how to express the core design of Hunter x Hunter, which to be most generic, hitting on specific tropes of anime. See, I think the problem 99 is that I don't know the tropes as well as you do. I think that's the problem. I mean, I can detect it, but I can see like when I see I can say I've seen it before, but I can't really express it because I don't have a lot of anime to pull from when I talk about it. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this list. So we'll get there. We'll have that conversation again. That's why it seems disjointed for you. They designed it that way. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. I was surprised that they completely switched the story up, and it actually did make it a little interesting because like you don't know what they're going to get into next, and I think that's something that could be a benefit for an adventure, right? An adventure story, but I got you go into stuff sometimes with expectations, and subverting them is not always the right thing. Just ask the Last Jedi. I can tell you what happened. You had myself, Core, and Tank all sharing different interests in genre anime, and it conflicts drastically. Tank like the more adult stuff, core like shonen more, and I like story heavy, slower stuff. You know what's funny? I like all of that. I'm like the most casual, center of the road person when it comes to anime. All right, so it's like I can pick and choose something from all those categories and say, yeah, all right. But I wouldn't say like I can't really put all my chips into one thing. Really, I like Cowboy Bebop. I mean, that's universally liked, right? I like what's another one? Yeah, Trigun. Trigun's more like a shonen, right? I don't know. I like that one. I guess it's okay, but oh yeah. Oh, okay. So Black Lagoon and Cowboy Bebop, I would say, or if I were to make an animation, they would be closer to those. Okay, those are the type of things that I drew, right? Just not in that way, you know, because I didn't know a lot about, you know, I don't know a lot about, you know, the culture of Japan and how that plays into those stories. But yeah, it would be lot like those. Let's see here, but I'm you know I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen, you know, Ninja, whatever it's called. I've seen Desert Punk, okay, but I've also seen like Speed Grapher. That's a little more towards the, you know, Cowboy Bebop, uh Black Lagoon side of anime, you know, somewhat very macabre stuff, which I like actually, but I wouldn't put that on the list of top 10. Like it was interesting, but maybe not that one. It wasn't that interesting. Okay, Claymore. Yeah, I said Claymore already, didn't I? Claymore. What was another one too? What was the other one? The one with the Kogas and the Egas. Not Ninja Scroll. It was another one. It was a different one that used that. I can't remember what it was called though. Basilisk. There you go. Basilisk. That was okay. That was okay. It was okay. Legend of Zelda have Koga and Iga. Oh, really? I did not know that. That's probably from a Legend of Zelda that I have not played yet, but we'll get to that. Hopefully later on in the coming months, we'll get there. I don't know how the heck far I want to get in Legend of Zelda before the year turns over, but I'm sure that, you know, the first Zelda could probably be beaten in like one or two sittings, maybe. But after that, all bets are off. I only know Ocarina of Time very well. That's the only one that I can legitimately say that I could probably 100% that game, and I probably will. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. Wind Waker, I don't know nothing. All right, I don't know nothing. Zelda 2, I don't know nothing. Link to the Past, I don't know nothing. All right, I know one in Ocarina. I know of one. Well, I'll say one. I could probably find some of the stuff. I ain't gonna find everything because we're not gonna use a guide. We're gonna go in blind. Okay, I'm just gonna go off of if I played it before, we're just gonna go off memory. Ocarina of Time, I shouldn't have to look anything up. I think I can. I think I can still reliably 100%. I've done it so many times. There's no way. There's no freaking way. That's like Sonic 3. I can still get all the emeralds, you know, all that stuff, and you know, not that that's anything to brag about, but I'm just saying I could probably Sonic 3. I know that I could. There's, you know, anything with patterns, I got it. All right, where all the secrets are, I think I can remember all the secrets from Ocarina of Time, all of them. The Skulltulas, all right, the heart containers. Those are really the only ones you need, to be honest. Maybe the giant wallet and all that stuff. Um, hey, little bass guy, welcome to the stream. I'm doing all right. Fumbled that. We're doing more retopology. This is very very taxing to the human spirit when you do it enough times, but we're getting better at it. I think I got to improve the ones for my clothes, but We're all right. We're doing all right. How are you doing? I was lurking in your stream yesterday. Let's see. Woo. Yeah, we're talking about what were we talking about? Anime and Zelda. Anime and Zelda, basically. I don't know how you feel about either of those, but that's what we were talking about. I'm okay at work like usual. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Get nice and warm out. We're gonna have some more rain. We're gonna have another rainy weekend though. I don't mind the rain. I like rain. It's very relaxing. Makes me not want to do anything sometimes. Just listen to the rain hit my windows. It's even better when that falls on a time where I'm gaming. I'm not one of those people that are ruined by raining. Let's see. If you use a guide, you'll be bother wanting wait. Okay, I know what you're saying. In a couple hours, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to use a guide for two. I probably should, but um, we're gonna see exactly how hard it is to figure that out or to figure out. Okay, we're gonna see. That's all I can say. We're gonna go in blind. I don't know what the heck's gonna happen, but I know I'm probably gonna get stuck at some point, which is fine. Which is fine. Autocorrect. You'll beat one and two in a couple hours. That's what I think that was. Bother. I don't know. I believe in you. Just take your time. Yes, of course. Yeah, we don't. I'm not gonna try to rush through anything that I play through. If I'm enjoying it, I'll do as much as I can. I don't think I'll. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we won't run into any games where I'm just gonna be miserable through because that's gonna make me not want to play them. Uh, that rarely happens anyway. I think I've only Driver San was it Driver San Francisco was probably the only game I did not enjoy at all, and I like Driver. I don't know how they messed that up, but I was not feeling that game at all. I still haven't beaten it to this day, and I didn't feel like playing Just Cause 3 when I started it. When I started it, I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this right. But I actually tried to get through Driver, and I hated it more and more the more I played it. That's never happened to me before. I like car games. I like Driver. The gritty 1970s cop thriller is not there anymore in San Francisco. It's some weirdo. I don't know. It's very. I don't know what happened, man. It took everything out of it. I hate that. I really don't like that game. Some people consider it like a breath of fresh air for the series. I'm not one of those people. I like Driver One. I like Driver Two, and I kind of like Driver Three, but I don't know if I'll actually be able to play that game anymore because it's that's one of the games that just does not work on emulator. It might. See. I think there is a way to get it to work though. Maybe on a different console, but not on PS2. Anyway, I got it when it first came out. I beat it, and then I immediately returned it for Metal Gear Solid 3, which came out the same year. Actually, it came out the following month, I believe. So I already know I wasn't gonna keep that game. I was like, no, Metal Gear, that's my jam. Okay, that's another franchise. We'll blast through that. Well, besides looking at all the cutscenes and whatnot, we'll blast through it. Um, I'm probably gonna get an F though. If you ain't got an S, you got an F. I'm saying that because it's a ranking system. Probably won't get the best rank because that's gonna take a little bit for me to get back up to that skill level, but I can beat the game definitely. I probably ain't gonna get big Ross rank. Feel free to give me all the Fs for that. I could save some scum it on the first playthrough, but I don't know how that will be received. Like if I just I got caught here. Good thing I saved it and I just go back and just do the area again. I could do that. But like I said, I don't know if if anybody would be willing for me to do that. as the series goes on, getting caught actually like from like if I play Metal Gear Solid 5, getting caught doesn't really matter as much uh in that game. So don't have to save scum anything in that game. Just and the game kind of encourages you to replay certain missions too because you sometimes you just cannot do all the objectives in every mission at in one go. It's just sometimes that's impossible. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know when I'm gonna play that, but one day I'll play through it. Probably before. Oh wait, you know what? Delta comes out in August, right? I might be able to fit that in right before. Well, I don't know. That's kind of what everyone else is gonna do, right? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play Delta right away, but Delta is coming out in August. Maybe I could do that, but I'm sure everyone else will do it too. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll participate in that trend of playing through Metal Gear before Delta comes out. I could do it. It would be easy. That's only in a couple of months, though. We're already coming up on May. That's only in what 3 months? No, 4 months. May, June, July, August. I don't know when in August. Maybe late August. Maybe mid. But I do want to play it. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna go down. It's just playing Metal Gear Solid 3 again, but with a new coat of paint. Presumably, I don't know. Maybe there's something different in it. All right, we're just gonna start another row. It's gonna start another row. Another row is happening. And the Final Fantasy one, the Final Fantasy franchise, that's gonna be a long haul type deal. I may have to break. I don't know. I was thinking like, do I go like one by damn one, or do we break that one up? I don't know. I'll play it by ear. We'll see how I feel about it. If I just daisy chain all the Final Fantasies together, I'm gonna be fucking full of Mako. All right, I'm gonna be full of Mako, full of materia, full of live stream. All right, the whole way. I'm gonna need Mako for that. Probably should just buy a voltage or something. That'll get me through it. That'll get me through a couple hours at the very least. I'm still collecting Ateliers, so I can't. I'm not gonna start that until I have them all. I just get them when they're on sale. The same thing with Yeast, I think it's called. I may have to find another RPG series in that time, which I mean that won't be hard at all because I got so many already. Some of them are one-offs like Vagrant Story and Legend of Dragoon, so it'll be easy to freaking fill. It won't be technically a franchise if they're only one-offs, right? Skies of Arcadia is another one. Did I move something on the other side there? Let me see. There's a lot of one-off RPGs, so that won't be something that if I won't ever have a shortage of an RPG to play. As long as you don't rush, you'll be fine. I think once I finish playing through my Call of Duty campaigns, I'm going to start another Mass Effect playthrough. Oh, Mass Effect's another one. Yes, that of course will be a franchise playthrough. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do right now. Okay, I'm probably going to do a Vanguard because that would be the most easiest, straightforward way to go just blast through that game on difficulty. Because Vanguard is probably the strongest class, I think, in that entire trilogy because of what you can do. So that'll be interesting. Although I don't think I've ever done an infiltrator playthrough on story mode. That's one thing I never did. I did it on multiplayer. I played infiltrator on multiplayer, but maybe not the story mode. Or did I? I don't know. You would think I would. No, you know what? I never done biotic. I never. I don't think I've ever done biotic. It's like straight biotic because everyone had that covered, so I never did it. I keep saying I'm going to change things up, but I never do it. Yeah, usually I just go more DACA, big gun, go boom, 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 and just shoot everybody up. But that's another way to blast through it, like literally. But Vanguard was it Vanguard or was it Sentinel? I think it was. Well, Sentinel Vanguard, I think it's the same thing. Anyway, yeah, it's really good because you can charge in, hit somebody with charge, and then you do the ground punch that knocks them down, and you just shoot them while they're on the ground and it's dead. You do that to literally everyone. You can like break through any of the enemy's defenses just by doing that because you can hit multiple people with the charge. So I don't think I would enjoy being a straight up biotic. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done straight up biotic, to be honest with you. Huh. Yeah, that Dragon Age. I'd be open to playing Dragon Age. I only beat the first one. I only enjoyed the first one. I didn't really get in the second one, but I'm gonna give that another shot. I played it when it came out, and I just wasn't. I was like, I don't know, and then I was like, yeah, I'll play this later, and then I just never went back to it. Whoops. But I wasn't really feeling it. So, but yeah, I'll go back to it eventually. Dragon Age. Uh, yeah, I got some. I mean, like I said, I have no shortage of things to play if I want to play something on stream. It's just a matter of what order. Dragon Age and Mass Effect are exactly the same game with different skins. I would say Dragon Age is more like Knights of the Old Republic and the fact that you can pause the game and plan out your turns ahead of time like that. And it probably I think it has the same rule set as Knights of the Old Republic, which is kind of more like a D20 tabletop game rule type deal. But otherwise, yeah, I would say yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I would say they would probably be similar to have some things from Mass Effect to an extent. You can combine your attacks. I know that's a thing in Mass Effect as well. It's just more turn based than dynamic. And then of course the whole dialogue system and influence and all that, which of course Knights of the Republic also had. But I think they probably leaned the series towards Mass Effect more and more as time went on. So they're both clones of Star Wars. Yeah, yeah, you got it. Yep. I actually played through that too. That's another game I could just beat, but I don't know when I'm gonna play it. That's probably the only thing that I really like from Star Wars. Actually, no, that's not true. I did play what was the one that just came out? Not Survivor, but the one before it. I did like that one. I might play that one day. It's mainly the games. Okay, I don't really care for the movies or the TV show that much. But Knights of the Republic is probably the best thing that they ever had, and they kind of messed it up with the online. I don't like the. I'm not really a fan of the online game. Fallen Order. There you go. Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. I started off playing that on the highest difficulty, and I probably spent like so many hours in the first area trying to learn the game as a result. And then I saw an optional boss that was like a big frog looking thing. I was like, once I learned how to kill that frog thing, since I was on the highest difficulty, nothing else could kill me. I was like, okay, I know how to play the game now. And I was just blocking all the stuff, just doing all the little lightsaber moves and whatnot. Because I had to, I got used to the difficulty basically, so I felt like I could kill anything. Of course, they still got me a couple times because it is the hard difficulty, but the thing is, you are a fan of Clone Wars and Rebels, you will appreciate Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survival way more. Yeah, I did not see either of those. I did see Ashoka though, and that's and some people's criticism of that is that it's just basically Rebels 2. I mean, I know who they are. I know who the characters are. Like I was like, oh yeah, this must be from a different show, obviously, right? This must be from that Rebels show, but I never actually saw the show. So I don't know any of the adventures or whatnot, and why what's her name Sabine is this way or whatever. I just know that they are from a different show. My criticism of it is that it's not Rebels 2, and I was really hoping it would be. That's interesting because everyone um, says that about the show. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it one way or the other because I never seen Rebels. But that's what people say. And I like the character design of Ashoka. I like Rosario Dawson, but I don't know anything about her except for that she's Anakin's apprentice, and that's it. That's all I know. I don't know nothing. And of course, they say, this is a trend that this is my overall criticism of all Disney shows. They'll say, "Hey, this is Ashoka's show," and then the show will be anything but the main character's show. Sometimes that works when you have interesting characters, but like I said, since I don't know much about any of the other characters, it's like, all right, I just take it and I consume it, and I'm like, okay, that happened. I don't really have it. I'm like, okay, yeah. I feel like I'm just going through the numbers. But when other shows do it and actually like the characters, like, okay, Daredevil Born Again kind of does the same thing. Like it's Daredevil Born Again, but it's more about Kingpin, which I actually like that character. You got some Punisher in there, and he's a decent character. Karen's interesting. Like it's got a strong supporting cast. So I feel like that formula of giving more characters the limelight, which people are surprisingly looking forward to, in a show that is about one character out of that amount. I feel like that would work better when they have a stronger overall cast. I do love the Disney Plus shows keep bringing back old Hayden Christensen. For reference, he had just got out of high school when he was cast as Anakin, and he's 40 now. Anakin is, of all the characters, I only like three of them in that entire show. Well, maybe four. And Anakin is one of them, yes. Because he's the only character in all of that entire trilogy that had any kind of emotion. Everyone else was wooden, so he stood out, of course. He's the only person that does not, he seems like he doesn't follow the script. He just does stuff. And I just, when you have the first three the first three trilogies, everyone acts normal, right? But I think that's one thing that they got wrong with the prequels is that everyone is lifeless except and wooden except Anakin, and until he gets to that romance scene, he was a little wooden there. Of course, everyone says that, points to that scene and goes, "This is why this character is bad." But forget all that, okay? He's the only character that has any life in him other than that scene, okay? But like I said, I don't really care too much about the shows. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. If I feel like watching them, I watch them. But I do enjoy any games that I've played from Star Wars more than anything that they put out. So, like Knights of the Old Republic, I'll play that again. I don't really mind. At least I have some control over how the story, pans out and whatnot. And it's actually a pretty well written game. CGI de aging is not fooling everyone. Does it ever? I can't think of one instance where I looked at that and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." You can kind of tell. Maybe Grand Moff Tarkin was probably the best one they did. Everyone else looks like they're in a PS5 game. Okay, maybe, and I say maybe Grand. I think that was the only one they probably they done really well. I can't think, and just overall, any kind of de aging, like for Charles Xavier, Magneto, it. I can't think of one that they did really well. Even Terminator. Actually, no, Terminator Genesis. I think maybe I would say maybe that's probably pretty high up there as far as de aging. I think they did him really well, but Salvation, no, you could tell he was CGI as fuck. You could tell. But when they recreated the Terminator 1 for Genesis, I thought that was pretty good. That actually kind of look, you can put them side to side and they're almost, it's almost a one for one. But that's how you can tell. Of course you can tell when they're side to side, right? But you know, side by side, but it's just the minor differences that really matter. And it could be because when you look at the deep fake, even that looks off because of the person underneath. The bone structure doesn't follow the person of the one that they're faking. I saw a really good one with they put Bruce Lee in the Matrix and he was fighting Morpheus in that scene, but you can still see Keanu's shape of his face underneath Bruce Lee's. So it still looks a little bit off. And of course, you know, when they're in motion, like when they're fighting, it kind of it's like a blur of the two actors together sometimes. My major gripe with the show is they missed two golden casting opportunities. They could have brought back Ashley Eckstein for as Ashoka and Tia Sarkar as Sabine, and they chose not to. Well, yeah, I think they had Well, I think didn't they do? They did Ashoka before Ahsoka. Is this Ashoka or is Ahsoka? Anyway, they had those characters set right before they made the show, didn't they? Didn't Ahsoka appear in the Mandalorian first? And they just chose her. They was like, you know what? Yeah, here we go. Here's this is Ahsoka now, and then they just used her again. They could have done it that way, but they didn't. I don't know. Rosario Dawson was already working for Disney slash Marvel, so I'm assuming that's the reason why they chose her. You know, she was in you know, the Netflix Daredevil and Luke Cage. She was like she was in a couple of those shows and Jessica Jones, and they're like, you know what, let's just use her again. That's probably the reason why they did that. And I don't know about the other two actors. I don't know much about them, but it could be possible that they are Disney slash Marvel main regulars, and they chose them for that reason. I can't really say for sure about Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I don't remember her seeing her in any other thing. She was in DC. She was in Birds of Prey, but and maybe that's the reason why they went for her. But they seem to just choose people that worked for them before, usually, right? Ahsoka, gotcha. Shh, there's no shh sound. Yeah, I figured. I just don't remember. I just don't be. I don't be paying attention to that shit. I never actually saw the. I never actually saw the Rebel show. I just saw the regular show, and I don't even remember how they pronounce her name because she's over here. She's all the way over here, and then everyone else is over here until what's his name, Kanan. You know, she meets Kanan and some of the other people after a while, right? Anyway, oh no, the reason they chose Rosario Dawson is she's a bigger star. Well, yeah, that plays into it, of course, yes. But I know she's already been technically working for Disney too, so I don't have a dog in this race. I never saw Clone Wars, so I can't really say for sure who they should have used, but I get it. I had no problem whatsoever with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The voice actress who played Hera in Rebels doesn't look anything like the character, so that was actually a reasonable casting choice. Yeah, I think they were saying that because even though I don't really follow Star Wars like that, I still see stuff in you know various places. They said they were going to give her more scenes in the next season, so look forward to that. I don't have Disney Plus, but my family does, so they give me the login if I want to watch something. If I really want to watch something, I'll log it in. I was curious about Daredevil Born Again, so that was the latest thing that I watched. I watched that last week. You look up a side by side of Tia Surkar and Sabine, it will make total sense to you. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think I may have seen. I'm not even sure when this happened, but I did see that Darth Maul and Obi Wan fought again. I saw that part. That's probably the only thing. I saw a clip of that on social media somewhere. No, yeah, Darth Maul's back, huh? Okay. And Ashley Eckstein is actually cosplayed as Ahsoka, so you don't even have to use your imagination to see what she would look like. In both cases, the characters were modeled after their voice actresses. You know what I find? This very rare when people say, "Hey, put me in a game, coach. You know, I want to play this character." It's very rare they actually pick that person. So if she wasn't doing that for fun and was just saying, "Hey, look, I can be in the live action," because a lot of people, there's some people who do that. Like I know the guy, damn, what was his name? The guy from Avatar, the bad guy. with the scar. I can't remember his name right now. But he wanted to play Cable at one point, and he was like, "Yeah, look, I can be Cable." And then they picked Thanos to play with Cable, even though he's Thanos, you know. And even though he did a great job, but I think he would have made it. I think the other guy would have made a great Cable too. To be honest, I mean, he looks like him. I can't remember his damn name right now though. And then I think the only person that actually worked was Samuel Jackson. That's only because they made him um Nick Fury in the comics in the Ultimates, and he was like, and they were like, yeah, okay, you know what, you can use my likeness, but you got to put me in the movies when you make them. So he kind of set himself up for life there, you know, well, for the rest of his life anyway. I know he's pretty old now, but it's probably the only time where that actually worked is with Samuel Jackson. Oh, and no, that was a fan casting, but you know, it was spot on. Professor X. They did use the same voice actor for Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ryder Azadi. Oh, okay. Hmm. So I wonder why they didn't do. Well, I mean, like I said, I think it's because Rosario Dawson has already been working for Marvel slash Disney. They're the same thing, Disney, and that's probably one of the reasons why they went back and used her again. Mads Mikkelsen was an amazing Thrawn. I did not know he was Thrawn. Oh yeah, Clancy Brown. Now I know Clancy Brown. Yes, he's done voice. He's done all kinds of stuff. Games. Hmm. Do I want to do it like that? I don't know. Did you play Mass Effect Andromeda? Yes, I did. In fact, I did. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, but it was a little empty. You know, there wasn't a lot of it was just the cat weren't very interesting, but they did the maps were really well done. They did the vehicle stuff better. The combat was more or less the same. I did like the weapons upgrading. I think that was carried over from 3 maybe. I don't remember it very well, but one of the things that I say a criticism was the dialogue itself. Like the dialogue, maybe a little bit of story. The story was a little weaker than the previous ones, but it could be a result of people being shuffled around from the previous games and the criticism itself of the previous game. But it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. I played it long after it was released, so I didn't get to see a lot of the bugs that were in the launch. Did you notice Clancy Brown was their father? No, I didn't. I probably maybe I recognized his voice. Well, I mean, I can't really say because now if I play it again, which I probably will, when I play through the franchise again, I can't really say for sure because I know going in now that that's Clancy Brown, but I don't think I recognized his voice when I first heard it. No, I don't remember going, he sounds familiar. I don't know off the top of my head what Clancy Brown sounds like. I just know that he does play in a lot of he does do a lot of voice work for games and animations and whatnot. I'm gonna bring it right there. Oh, I know that speaking of Knights of the Republic, I read somewhere that a couple of weeks ago, the voice actor for Atten Rand committed suicide for whatever reason. That kind of sucks. I don't know what happened there, but he's not here anymore. Yeah, some of the dialogue I was like, man, what happened? What happened to the writing? It used to be clever, man, but you know, it was I don't know, it seemed very mid. The dialogue itself was very mid. Not just the story, but just the way their lines are written sometimes were like I was like, oh, they I don't know. Who in the world? I might get shit for this, but I feel like the writing kind of took a little bit of a drop after the Citadel DLC. I noticed when I played through it one time, I was like, huh, this is more along the lines of the recent games. It's I don't know. I don't know what happened. I could tell that it wasn't the same writers who did Citadel versus the previous DLCs and games. First, the fact that they didn't finish it, like the game had so many technical issues and it became so expensive to fix, they just abandoned it, which sucked as a person who bought the deluxe edition and never got the DLC I was promised. I feel like they should have just owned their shit, fixed and finished the game no matter what it cost to foster goodwill with the players. Yeah, it was I didn't encounter any of the bugs that I saw people record in the videos, but I do know that some of those bugs were in previous games. I've gotten stuck in Tachanka one time, and that's the same. It was like in midair, and that was the same bug that I saw in Andromeda. Someone recorded it happening in Andromeda. So some of those bugs were carryovers from the previous games too. Second, there are only three interesting characters in the game. They really should have put more time and effort into developing the other characters and getting better actors for some of them. Hey, what characters were interesting to you? Out of curiosity, I did not like. I wasn't a fan of PB. I feel like they put the most effort in PB as far as making her the standout character. I think the pink alien dude, I don't remember his name, I'm sorry, was probably the most interesting um character. I could tell that they wanted, they were really, that was their probably someone's favorite character. PB was. I didn't like her personally, but I feel like they put, they gave her more, definitely more effort than say Kara. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I figured, yeah. Vetra was the pink alien, right? Which one was Lexi again? Was that the damn? What's that species name again? I don't remember. Garrus is, Garrus is Vetra was the Turian. There you go. Okay, guess what I thought. I actually did not use her, so I missed out on that. I used um I used Jal. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure about. Wait, hold on. Wait. Who was Lexi then? I don't even remember these characters. See, I took two characters and I stuck with them. I had Jaw with me. Jaw was one of them. I don't even remember who the other character was. Um, was it the Krogan? Did I use the Krogan? I don't remember. Maybe it was Kara. I don't know. I was like, I'll just pick Kara. Even though I didn't really like Kara to be honest. Or the other guy that was with her. I didn't like him either. They were very bland characters. And usually, they did a pretty good job with the characters for the most part, right? Overall. Because I feel like some people in three kind of fit that description of not being very interesting, and two, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like they didn't give a shit about Jacob and two. Even people don't even like him because they made him. They make him cheat if you're a female and you romance him. They make him cheat on you and break up with you, and then that's with someone else. And people really hate that, which I find amusing. But yeah, Jacob was probably somebody they could have put in Andromeda. He would have fit right in because nobody really gave a shit. The ship's doctor. Oh yeah, I know Natalie Dormer. Okay, I don't remember her. Yeah, I gotta play through that game again because yeah, it wasn't very like the characters were not very memorable. I remember PB though. I remember her. PB was a little annoying, but I could tell that they were like, yeah, this is the character we're focused. We're putting all our effort in. Maybe they made her first. I don't know. I don't know how what goes into designing those characters. When I play through it, I'm gonna point out exactly what I didn't like about the things that they say sometimes. But the designs of the world were pretty cool. I like those. I think the thing with the main trilogy versus the Andromeda is that even if the characters weren't the best they had, Really good voice actors. Yeah, this is nothing. Yeah, I never had any problem with any voice actors. It's just, when you have that, and I get it, when you have that many characters, some of them are going, not all of them are going to be, get the same screen time, or effort put into them. That's just the way it is. When you have a lot of characters, that they have a limit in stories where it's like they have the characters, they have like 7 characters is the limit apparently to there's like a standard, and you have way more than that. I think. Let me see. Let me use two as an example. How many characters does two have? Right, not even counting the people off the ship, or even the other crew members that you don't play as. Let's just focus on the characters that you have to play. You put in your team and whatnot. Okay, you got Shepard. All right, which is kind of like a blank slate, obviously, but they did voice him, and you can he feels like a part of the story. He doesn't feel like like you. He doesn't. He's not really so much an extension to you or she. Okay, so let's go Shepard, Miranda, Jacob, Jack, uh, Garrus, Grunt, Saeed, Kasumi, Legion. We're at 9. Am I missing one? I feel like I'm missing one or two, maybe. I don't know. So we're already past 7. Okay, and that's not even counting the other people that they gave definitely more effort to than at least Jacob, right? Like Joker, Dr. Chakwas. These are all characters that they feel like they feel like they're a part of the story. Oh yeah, Morden. That's 10 characters. You did not mention that. That's pretty cool. I like Kasumi. I like Zaid and Kasumi. They are pretty good DLC characters, but um, they didn't feel as fleshed out as the other characters. Like some of them don't even have dialogue trees. Like you just click on them and they just give you a voice line and that's it. But they're still likable characters. People still like them. I like them. It's just they didn't do as much with them as they did with the others, unfortunately. But yeah, but to touch on what we brought up on your stream some weeks back that I completely forgot about. I feel like out of all 10 of those characters, there's probably more characters I don't remember right now. But of all 10 of those characters, Morden is probably the only one that has a complete arc. It just ends in him, getting fucked up in the end. In my opinion, I think Morden is the only one that has a complete story arc. I think you were mentioning that that you disagreed with that, and he was one of the ones that they kind of wasted. I think yeah, I can't think of anyone else that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of it as like does anyone else have a complete story arc? They feel like I don't know. No, not Jack. Jack is just trauma. She's literally just there. It's like her whole story is trauma. Same thing with Miranda. And you find out some more stuff about her, but none of that really matters. But I feel like Morden was probably the one character that they have start to finish a whole story, and that's it. Yeah, I have so many mixed feelings about that. Like I'm so sad they kill him off, but I feel like if you're a character that's going to get killed off, you want to go the way Morden did. Yeah, you know what? I didn't play as Morden, but I was invested in this story. Like by the end of 3, I was like, wow. I was like, man, I wish that didn't happen, but he had probably the best story out of any character. I can't think of a character who has a better story than him, or at least a complete story. You saw most like 2 of the characters. You solved their daddy issues, right, and then somewhat, and then that's it. They're just standing over here now, and yeah, Jack is just trauma. Grunt is like the perfect soldier, but he doesn't. You kind of have to. He doesn't really fit in with his group because he's a artificially made Krogan. That doesn't feel like it gets resolved. Zaid is just a mercenary. He's just there because Elusive Man paid him, and you get to find out all about all the terrible shit he's done for money, and that's it. And then let's see. I already said Jack, didn't I? Who else is there? Garrus does not have a complete story arc, in my opinion. I don't even know what his arc is. He's one of the people that are just there. When he worked for you from the first game, and after he found out he died, he just went after gangs as a vigilante. Okay, it's more like a follow up than a complete story arc. I also think Edie had a really good character arc. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. Yeah, she actually becomes a character, like her own character. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but everyone else feels like I don't know. It's not like Morden. Not nothing like him. Even Liara, which would be probably the closest comparison because of her relationship to the main character. But it's mostly just romance stuff. If you don't romance her, she's nothing. She's like a plot device for most of the character, or for most of the game. And then, oh look, she's the shadow broker. Okay, all right. But like, what is their struggle? I don't know. I can't remember. At least I'll figure it out when I play the game. Again, maybe something will come back to me. I don't know. But I feel like, yeah, even Liara, they gave her so much content that doesn't amount to anything. And it's not even over. She might even be in the next game because they can live for so long. Garrus's arc is just he's your alien bro, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, compared to Morden, who has like he's done so much, he has such an impact on the story that it actually feels like a complete character arc compared to the others. So, and Mass Effect 2 is my favorite. It's just, now that I'm thinking about it, and I didn't even play with Morden. I'm like, yeah, he has the best story. Besides, outside of his loyalty missions, I really didn't. And of course, the suicide mission in two, I didn't really play with him like that, you know. And you don't get none of that if he's not there. I heard that if you let so many people die and you get to make it out of the game, because apparently if too many people die, they won't even let you finish Mass Effect 2. They're like, nah, you die too, fuck you, right? They just let you fall off the ship, or whatever happens, I forget. But if so many people die, it's like there's nothing to go on in 3. Like, the story is like worse because they had all the filler, and they're not even part of the story. But if they're all gone, it's like someone said, this is someone's opinion because I never actually done this, I don't know for sure, that the story just doesn't know what to do if not enough people are in it. So I don't know, but I heard that. I just thought that was worth mentioning because that's interesting if it's true. Yes, if you don't romance, or if you don't romance Lara, she's basically wallpaper. Same with Ashley. uh I don't even remember Ashley's romance, but I know I have I romanced everyone. Like, I played a male and a female shepherd, Paragon and Renegade, every which way, every combo, just to see, because I was really into that game at one point. I played 2 first, and then I played 1, and then 3 came out and I played that. All right. I just looked at the time. I have to go. We got a little carried away there. All right. If no one dies in Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 makes no sense. Yeah. I don't remember who they were replace you with. I think it's the guy that you save on Vermeer, the or something like that. I've never done it, so I don't know. I think it would be more interesting if you could romance Garrus as male shepherd. I don't really want to play as female shepherd, but also want to go through that arc. Oh, Paddock Wicks. Okay, yeah, I've never done that, so I don't know. But yeah, apparently there's an order that you have to save people in one. But we're going to have to once again continue this another time because there's so much to say about Mass Effect. Okay, I want to thank everyone for stopping by, hanging out in the stream. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry that I did not get the stream this past weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to fix that for the rest of the week with our normal schedule. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow if there's no change. Thank you for watching the VOD, and if you're watching on YouTube, thank you as well. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Okay.